biggest challenges homeowners face is figuring out how to buy their next home when they still need to sell the one that they're living in. On paper, it sounds simple, and in reality, coordinating these two transactions is one of the most complex timing challenges we see in real estate. Because the moment you try to buy and sell at the same time, the questions start stacking up. What happens if you find the perfect home, but your current one has not sold yet? What happens if your home sells quickly and suddenly you have nowhere to go? What happens if the seller of the home that you want to buy rejects your offer because it depends on selling your house first? These are real concerns, and they come up often here in my Chittenden County market in Vermont, especially in certain pockets like 450,000 to 700,000, with another active pocket upwards towards 800,000, especially when the home is desirable, neighborhoods especially, and homes on land, especially 10 to 30 acres. Those are hard to come by. Homes in these segments can move quickly, which makes planning ahead even more important. So today I want to walk you through the real challenge of buying and selling at the same time, the strategies people use to make it work, and how you can build a plan before you even list your home or write an offer. Because the biggest mistake homeowners make is trying to solve the puzzle after they're already in the middle of it. If you are thinking of making a move in Vermont and want clear, practical insight into how this market works, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. I share guidance here to help you move through the process with clarity and confidence. So let's start with the core challenge. When you buy and sell, the hardest part of buying and selling at the same time is not the house, it's the timing. When you submit an offer on a home, sellers want confidence that you can actually close. If your ability to buy depends on selling your current home first, that introduces uncertainty for them. This is what is known as a home sale contingency. And while contingent offers can absolutely work, they do add another layer of risk from the seller's perspective. That does not mean they never get accepted. They do. But understanding how sellers evaluate risk helps you position yourself more effectively. Timing also creates pressure. If your new home becomes available before your current home sells, you need a plan. If your home sells faster than expected and you have not found your next property, you also need a plan. This is why buying and selling simultaneously is really about strategy. And then when I work with clients who are navigating this, I often walk them through a simple visual framework that helps make the options more clear. The framework I use with clients. So when I sit down with homeowners planning a move, I often show them a visual that breaks down this into 3 parts. The core challenge, the typical strategies people use, and the key question that determines which path makes the most sense. Because once you see the structure of the problem, the process becomes much easier to plan around. At the center of the framework is the core challenge. It can be difficult to get an offer accepted on a home if your current one is not at least on the market. Sellers want assurance that you're ready and able to perform. And when you are coordinating 2 transactions at once, the timing of these can create pressure if you don't have a plan. The good news is that there are several strategies people use to make this work. Strategy number 1. Prep first. The first strategy is prep first. This means your home is completely ready to go on the market the moment you find your next home. Your home is photographed, your pricing strategy is ready, your marketing plan is prepared. So if the right property appears, you can move quickly and list your home immediately. This strategy works for homeowners who have a very specific search and want the flexibility to act quickly when the right opportunity appears. Preparation creates leverage because once you find the right home, you're not scrambling to get your current property ready. Last year alone, I helped 3 different clients successfully navigate these buy and sell situations in this strategy using this exact strategy. In each case, we had their home fully prepared in advance, so when they found the home they wanted, I was able to share photos, our pricing strategy, and our marketing plan directly with that listing agent. That helped give them and the seller confidence that our plan was real and that we were ready to move quickly. And honestly, this is where having an experienced agent can help make a big difference. Being able to communicate clearly the plan and build trust between agents can often be what helps the seller feel comfortable accepting an offer that depends on another transaction. The second strategy is what I call the flexible search approach. In this situation, you list your home first and begin your home search once your property is under contract. This approach tends to work best when your search criteria is relatively broad and you're likely to find something suitable within a few weeks to a month. Once your home is under contract, your position as a buyer becomes much stronger. Sellers know your home is already moving forward towards closing, which reduces uncertainty on their side of the transaction. And that can make for a far more competitive offer. In this situation, you may hear the term HUfSH, contingent upon finding suitable housing. This allows you to accept an offer on your home while giving you a defined period of time to find your next home. Typically, this might give you around a month to again secure the next home, sometimes with a possibility of a short extension depending on the agreement. But buyers will not wait indefinitely, so you do want to think carefully about what happens if you do not find the right home within that window. Because once you're under contract, it is generally best to stay under contract if possible, because going back to the market can sometimes result in a lower final sale price. It can also put you right back in the same position you started in, which that doesn't feel good. So in many cases, this approach works best when you also have a backup plan in place, such as short-term housing, temporary storage, or the flexibility to bridge the gap if needed. Strategy number 3, bridge plan. The third option is what I call a bridge plan. You might find your next home before your current home sells, or your home may sell before you find the right next property. In those cases, homeowners sometimes create temporary solutions. This might include short-term housing, storage options, rent-back agreements, or working with lenders on bridge loan strategies. Bridge loans and other financing solutions can sometimes allow homeowners to access equity in their current home before it sells. These options are not right for everyone, but they can create flexibility in certain situations. That is why understanding what lending programs exist and speaking with a lender early in the process is so important. A lender can evaluate your debt-to-income ratio and determine whether you could realistically carry 2 mortgages temporarily. At that point, you can decide what level of risk or flexibility that you are comfortable with. Why contingencies matter? When you are buying and selling at the same time, contingencies become one of the most important factors in negotiations. A home sale contingency means your purchase depends on your current home selling first. From a seller's perspective, that adds uncertainty. And in competitive markets, sellers sometimes prefer offers that feel simpler and more secure. That does not mean contingent offers never work. As I mentioned, they definitely can, but understanding how sellers evaluate risk helps you plan your strategy more effectively. And on the flip side, when you're the one selling your own home, one strategy some sellers use is prioritizing offers from buyers who do not have that home sale contingency. That can also reduce risk on their side of the transaction. What I see most often in the Chittenden County market. Locally, one of the most active segments of the market tends to be single-family homes between 450 and 700,000, also 700 to 800,000, and definitely those homes on land. And homes in those ranges often attract strong buyer interest. So if your home falls within that segment, preparation before listing becomes especially important, because once your home hits the market, things can move quickly. Having a clear strategy before that moment allows you to confidently respond instead of reacting under pressure. Selling out of state adds another layer. Selling a home in another state while buying here in Vermont adds a layer of complexity. One thing I often tell clients is that Vermont is a very relationship-driven real estate market. In many ways, the state operates like one large connected community. Trusted relationships matter, communication between agents matter, and coordinating those relationships becomes even more important when transactions are happening across different states. For sellers, relocating into Vermont, having a strong listing strategy and clear communication between your agents can help make a huge difference in how smoothly the process unfolds. The key question I always ask: whenever someone comes to me planning to buy and sell at the same time, there is one question I always ask early in the conversation. What is your contingency plan? What happens if a new home becomes available before your current one closes? What happens if your current home sells faster than expected and you've not found your next home yet? What happens if negotiations require flexibility with timing? These are not problems, they are simply possibilities. But thinking through them early makes the entire process far less stressful. The clarity activity I walk clients through. One of the first things I do with clients who are navigating this type of move is something called a clarity activity. The purpose is to understand the market landscape before making decisions. We look at questions like how often homes that match your criteria come up in the market, where inventory is concentrated, what price ranges are most competitive, and how realistic different timing strategies may be. This helps us understand the probability of success for different approaches before committing to one, because the goal is not just simply finding a home, the goal is building a strategy that gives you the highest chance of success. So quick question for you. If you were planning a move and needed to buy and sell at the same time, which approach would make you feel most comfortable? Selling your home first or buying your next home first? Let me know in the comments. I always enjoy hearing how people think through this process. Final thoughts. Buying and selling at the same time can feel complicated. It is like a puzzle, but when you understand the strategies available and build a plan before entering the market, the process becomes more manageable. The key is preparation, understanding your financial options, understanding how competitive your price range is, and knowing what contingency plans exist, especially if timelines shift. So if you're considering a move in Vermont and want help thinking through your strategy, feel free to reach out. And if you want more videos explaining how the Vermont real estate market works, subscribe so you don't miss future insights. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.